What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I'm joined once again by one of Wise Take's finest DFS analysts. He is the three. That's right, the triple OG, Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe. Ref, Joey, my man, what's happening, bro?
Not much, man. It's Sunday night. Survived the weekend with the kids, and just wanted to, talk a little DFS with you. I'm excited. Next weekend I am embarking on a very, very, very difficult task. Next Friday night, I will have all three children alone with me. Just the wife is going away for the night with a friend, and it's going to be all me and all three children for the night and the next day. So
wow,
I'm preparing for that. Yeah, that's going to be big.
Well, the good news is it's going to be you and Audie, so you're not totally alone. The bad news is I don't know if that's a good thing.
Well, that's the thing is, Audie comes out once the kids asleep, because the kids go to sleep at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thug life. Thug life. I get it. Yeah, man. Brace yourself. That's all I got to say. I mean, is this the first time you've had just all three of them? Like,
I've had the twins I've had the twins for like a weekend, but all three of them overnight this will be a first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the good thing is that on Friday the nanny doesn't leave till like 6 or 6:30.
Okay, so you just got 2 hours and bam, it's bedtime. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. I'm with it.
Put on some music, some pizza. And
yo, some of the videos you send us of your the way your household is, it's hysterical. Like you sent us one of the twins pushing around the chair like it's a sled, and. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite one is when you're blasting that music, the electronic music, and like all your kids are just jamming out, just like just all of them, like boom, boom, boom. It's just like, that is awesome.
All three houses.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
House music, I love it. So
well, what we can do to make this experience better for you, Joe, is just completely smash this week. We're just gonna smash every day this week in DFS, all the way up until the weekend. We'll smash through the weekend too, but obviously then you're going to be given like half attention. So until then, Joey, we're just going to smash every day this week. And that's it. You'll have all the money to be able to throw at the kids and let them occupy what you got to occupy.
We smashed on Friday, so let's keep it going on Monday. We smashed on Friday.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
it was
content-wise, everybody's been on. Like, I know you had a really good night Friday. I had a decent night Saturday, but like I'm still like missing those like bigger ones, like those big hits. Like it's just one or two pivots, or it's just like not the right combination. You had like these great guys, that great guys, just not together. But we're close, and a lot of the content itself at Wise Take has just been awesome. So I'm excited to start the new week, as I always am. It's always nice to have the weekend, but I'm always hungry for Monday because that's just what we do. Anyway, Joe, we have ourselves an 11 game slate. 11. Do we have a visitor? Is that what that was?
Yeah. Well, Tyler wanted to come in for a second. Do you want to? No. Come here. Come and say hi to everybody. Come on, if you want to be a guest, come on.
If you want to be a guest,
you want to be a guest on the podcast? No. Okay. Good night, buddy. Then we'll see you. I'll see you in the morning.
I wasn't having it today. It's all good.
In a little while, buddy. You got to go to sleep, all right?
Like 1 minute?
No, in like 30 minutes, all right? So you go to sleep, all right?
That's a long number to get to.
I know. All right, buddy.
I couldn't even count that high.
All right.
Would this have the, like...
Go give Daddy a hug and then let's go back to
Okay, just go give me a hug and kiss. And
You can set the timer.
Okay, I'll set the timer. Say hi to CK.
What's up, buddy?
All right, say hi to everybody.
What's up, buddy? Getting big, man. Getting big, getting strong.
Say hi to everybody. Everybody at Wise Take. Say hi, Wise Take.
Yo, do me a favor and say Sam.
Can you say 7?
Sam.
All right. Good night, buddy.
He wasn't feeling it today. We'll catch him next time.
Tell him to go to sleep.
You need to go to sleep.
Set the
All right?
timer for
No, Tyler, you need to go to
You need to
sleep.
go to sleep. All right, guys.
Just a little taste right there, Joe. Little taste.
Little taste. You never know who's gonna break in. You see, you think that that's it's 9:15. He was supposed to be asleep by like 8:00. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. Okay?
What's gonna happen next weekend when it's 9:15 and Audie is fully out, and then Tyler pops in like, "Hey, what's up, pops?" So you know what I mean? Like, what's
Well, I'll probably put like Xanax. You know, sprinkle Xanax on their food or something. You know, twins go to sleep real easy. You know. I'm just kidding.
Obviously, but yes, good thing you say that because there are some people out there who probably think you're serious. So it's good you disclose that.
No,
Very good.
trust me, I'm not.
11-game slate, Joe. A lot of the heat in the Northeast is gone. We're supposed to get some relief this week. It's not going to be as hot. Like in Pittsburgh, I'm seeing around 70. In Washington, I'm seeing around 80. So it's going to cool down a little bit on the Northeast. The funny thing is, there's just not a lot of games in the Northeast. A lot of it is happening in like the Midwest and the West Coast. So we'll go ahead and dive in as we always do, Joe. Cash games, SP1s. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like one of the games may have a little bit of rain in Washington, and we all know how they're quick on the trigger for that. So be looking at that. I already looked ahead, and it looks like there might be some thunderstorms before the game and then maybe after the game. But if those thunderstorms kind of hunker down, it could get, you know how they do quick, delays in that game. So, or they'll just postpone it in Washington. That's what they always do. So be on the lookout for that. Anyways, SP1s. To me, I just think it's Mike Clevenger. He's facing the Blue Jays, who strike out in the top 10 against right-handed pitching. So with what's on the slate tomorrow, what's going on, I just don't like Garrett Cole against the A's. It's not that the A's are great or anything, but they just don't strike out that much, and you need strikeouts. And Clevenger is facing a team, like I said, that strikes out quite a bit, so I don't mind that. And the only other guy that I might look at would be maybe Erod at 8K on FanDuel going against the Rays, who strike out a lot against lefties, but they've kind of like rearranged their lineup a little bit better, so they hit lefties, I think, a little bit better than they used to. So that's the thing about tomorrow. You have a lot of teams that you might want to pick on because the numbers say to pick on, but the pitchers throwing against them make them very GPP level pitchers, and that there's not very many cash game pitchers tomorrow. So I'm just going to stick with Clevenger, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I think you prioritize him on DraftKings. He's very expensive in the 12s, but he just seems like the guy that is most likely to, I think, get you the floor you're looking for. Like with strikeouts, he's obviously got ceiling, but I'm assuming he's going to be super popular. So in tournaments, I think you can have a conversation about these other guys. Maybe your Robbie Rays or Garrett Coles, and whoever else is crazy expensive. But I agree with you. I think in cash games, I feel the most comfortable with Clevenger in terms of like strikeout floor. SP2 is a whole different conversation. I don't think it's as clear. Anybody that stands out to you?
Boy, it's tough. I think SP2 might be the key tomorrow on DK. I look at guys like Trevor Richards, who was kind of like popular last week. Here's a guy that I'm going to talk about, and I realize that maybe not many people might want to go there, but if you're worried about everybody else, why don't you go down to Samson, who already has 2 starts against the Mariners this year and have averaged 32 FanDuel points against them. I don't know what that translates on DK points, but at 4,100 against a team that their lineup was not as good as it was when he faced them back in April and May, I might take a look at him, because then you just pair Cole or Clevenger with him, and you might do that. Because everybody else, they're kind of in a range of, I'm just not sure. I might take a look at, if I had to pick one in the 7K range, I probably would go with Miguel Gonzalez at home against the Rangers, who are Marco Gonzalez. I'm sorry, yeah, Marco Gonzalez, who is against the Rangers, who are implied for under 5 runs, and I feel like almost everybody's implied for 5 runs these days. So I kind of like Gonzalez then if I had to pick one of those 7K guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all, man. I'm always down to attack the Rangers with lefties, especially when they are away from their awesome hitting park, and they're in literally one of the opposite in Seattle. So I'm totally fine with Marco. He seems like a stable option. Sampson is kind of interesting, maybe more of a tournament thing, but he is very interesting. The only issue with him is he's been pitching out of the bullpen. He hasn't started in like a month, so question is pitch count. But at 4,100 on DraftKings, I think you have a point there for potential SP2.
He's had way better against the price. That's what I'm saying. He shouldn't be 41.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure at the very least he can get 3 innings, and I mean at 4,100, I mean if the guy gets you a 10, you're like cool with that. So if he manages to skate through 5, gets in a position to potentially get the win, like you could be really happy with that. So I actually think that's interesting for tournaments. Marco Gonzalez does feel like a little more of a cashy play. I'm sure some people may even look at Alec Mills against the Giants only because that game's in San Francisco. But yeah, I think that like Richards will get some love. Marco Gonzalez.
What about Trevor Williams at home against the Cardinals, who have been bad against the righties?
That is interesting. I just want to look more into Trevor Williams. And make sure, like, I think he hasn't started since I guess it's not that long. He only had like a day or 2 rest, so it makes sense. Cardinals, man, he'll probably be the cash game chalk SP2 because of how bad the Cardinals have been. Today they rolled out. I went all in on Desclafani because they rolled out like the Death Squad lineup, like Death Squad 2.0. We haven't seen a lineup this bad since what the Diamondbacks used to do last year. I mean, it was horrible. The strikeout rates were just. Anyway, yeah, I could see him becoming like the popular cash game SP2 because it's against the Cardinals, and they've just been awful. So I'm actually cool with that, Joe. I think that's a good point. Between him, Marco Gonzalez, and maybe for the sake of ownership, maybe Trevor Richards, although he's got the least friendly park, and the White Sox have been kind of up and down. But yeah, I think that Williams could see a lot of traction. That's a good call. Let's talk about tournaments, Joe. Do you look at things any differently with these pitchers for tournaments?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. I said a lot of them have great matchups, but they're not pitchers that like really like give you confidence you want to play them in cash. Starting right off, Robbie Ray. He'll probably be on my main tournament team tomorrow. How much? 9,600 on FanDuel. Yeah. He's 9,600 on FanDuel. I know he's more expensive on DK, but on FanDuel at 9,600 against Baltimore, like I know, like listen, at least in the wise take, 10 commandments, like the 9th commandment is thou shalt not play Robbie Ray in cash. So like I just can't, like you just don't do it because every time he is chalky. Because to be honest with you, if he should be the cash game pitcher tomorrow, but every time that he has a great matchup like this, he shits on himself. So you know what I'm saying? So like to me, he's a GPP option. And he's like the best GPP option tomorrow because he's facing the Orioles. Weak lineup. He should get the win. Hopefully he'll go 6 innings. But ironically though, there's a couple guys on the Orioles that just hit lefties really well. So you might because they're always so cheap. But to me, it's Robbie Ray up top. I just like him. And you could also go with Garrett Cole if you really can find some cheap stacks up at the bottom. But when it comes up top, yeah, those are the two. But I like Ray definitely on FanDuel, 9,600. That's a little cheap.
Yeah, I mean on DraftKings he's cheaper than Clevenger also, and you're right. Like I think for the most part, a lot of people like based off Vegas projection, everything Ray would be the answer. But I think you and I have, like you said, it's a wise take commandment. Like we just can't play him in cash. It's just not something you can do, and we have alternatives, so he doesn't make the cut. But I agree with you. I think in tournaments you can make a case. The issue is like Baltimore. In my opinion, I have to double check this statistically. Earlier in the season it was true, but I got to check recently because their team is a little bit different. But they have been better against lefties last I checked. I know, tell that to Chris Sale, who I'm sure has dominated them at least a couple times this year. But they're not in Baltimore. They're in Arizona. I'm assuming they're going to close this roof. We'll have to check on that tomorrow. But if they do, it's more of a pitcher-friendly park these days. And I think it makes a lot of sense. They might open it?
Right now they're only saying it's 99 degrees.
Yeah.
They're not going to close that. It won't be 99.
They probably. I'm gonna look it up. They probably have that up already because they usually do it like 3 days in advance. Like they try to plan it. Monday close. Monday versus Orioles, July 22nd. They're gonna close it. They're not opening it for the next 3 days. That sucks. But either way, that's probably better for Robbie Ray anyway. So yeah, I can get behind it. You got to think that the D-backs' chances of scoring, like the win for Robbie Ray, should be easy. The most important thing with Robbie Ray is you don't want to take him against guys that walk because he's got such a walk issue. That is one thing that these Orioles have not done against lefties. Some of the lowest walk rates you will see, like Hansel Alberto has a 1.6% walk rate against lefties. 1.6.
But he has one of the top, but he hits lefties almost.
Yes, he's one of their better lefty hitters. Yes, he has an 11% strikeout rate too. But collectively as a team, their projected lineup has an average of 5.4%. That's extremely low for a team. So this may be a time where Robbie Ray and his 13.7% swinging strike rate is in a pretty good position. So we'll see. 11.5% walk rate, that'll kill you. But he's against a team that has a 5.4. We'll have to check on the umps tomorrow, Joe. Make a final decision. But I like that.
Yeah, that's definitely. I know, Paulie. When it comes to umpires, Paulie's. Me and him are big on that. But when it comes to Robbie Ray, he's one of the if he has a good umpire.
Oh yeah.
But if he doesn't.
For him, it's very, very important. You can't play him at all with a bad ump, and you're more likely. You really only want to play him when it's a good ump. So it is very important for a guy like him, especially when now it was one thing when he was 8,700 on FanDuel and he was 9.96 on DraftKings, but now he's 11.4 over here and 9.6 over there. He's a little more expensive. The expectation has risen. You know what I mean? As far as SP2s, Joe, can I interest you for tournaments? Or we'll just say cheaper options in general. I know you mentioned Sampson, which I thought was a very sneaky good call. Ivan Nova against the Marlins. Nova's been awful, but the Marlins, granted, I'm not comparing Nova to the Dodger pitching staff. They saw Buehler, Kershaw, Ryu. Miami is striking out at an alarming rate. Kershaw with 10 through 6, and then Buehler had 12 today through 7. They're striking out a ton right now. However, this is a smaller ballpark in Chicago. Looks like we're going to have potentially winds blowing out to right field, which they've only got 2 lefties. But Ivan Nova's been awful. Where do you lean in that situation?
I actually like him a little more now that you brought it up. But, he probably goes into that list of guys, facing a team that, has a decent matchup. I mean, Trevor Richards, there's guys, like I said, that are in decent matchups against teams that just don't, I mean, the Rockies don't hit well on the road. They're striking out a lot on the road. Fetty is, whatever, but he's a decent option. Trevor Richards, there's another GVP option. Here's a guy that I might be out on a ledge tomorrow, but I think Martin Perez is going to troll the Yankees tomorrow. I don't know if I have many teams, if I'll get to him, but I honestly think they're striking out 24.6% of the time against lefties, about the same amount the last 30 days. And I just think that people are going to try and play the Yankees a lot. They're away from Yankee Stadium. I just, maybe it's just a gut play or something like that. I just have a feeling that Martin Perez could be a little, trolly tomorrow and, have a great matchup, sort of like a Jason Vargas-esque type performance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, Perez has been better than Vargas this year. So on DK, he's 8,100. He's a little bit too expensive, but on FanDuel at 6,600, I mean, that's not bad. You know what I mean? He's almost the same price as Nova. So I don't mind that. That's not bad. Alec Mills, you spoke of him a little bit earlier. That's not a bad option. Another option we could talk about on FanDuel, I think he's a little bit more interesting than he would be on DK because he's 9,700. But Sonny Gray, facing the Brewers, who strike out a lot, but they're back at home, so it's kind of, heat warning. It's kind of weird. This guy Ponce de Leon of St. Louis is 9K on DK, but on FanDuel he is 6,700.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a another price discrepancy. Like, what are they looking at? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he in a better matchup than he should be? So on FanDuel, you might want to look at him because his last start, he got his tits lit like bad. So against Pittsburgh.
Mm.
So I don't see, what the upside is. Nobody else really, I'm looking at, like I said, I think you can look at on FanDuel, Gonzalez then on FanDuel becomes kind of in play, paying down and stuff like that, fit in those big stacks you might like.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that a lot of interesting tournament options, man. Like all different levels. Like, we got some guys in the mid tier that are interesting. We got some guys that are like at the bottom that are maybe worth taking a chance on, and then we have a few studs at top that have massive strikeout upside. We have a little bit of everything, I think. Let's check the other side of the ball. Let's look at some offenses, Joe. What are some of the offenses you do like? First look.
I think the chalk tomorrow, and obviously on first look, I probably say has got to be the D-backs against Aaron Brooks, who haven't gone more than 3 innings since he's been with the Orioles. And then you got the bad bullpen behind it in a good ballpark, and so to me, it's the D-backs number one right now to start off with. Then I'd probably go with. I like the Twins tomorrow against CC Sabathia. I think they're going to come out. This is two of the top teams. This is a playoff preview matchup. Sabathia is, he's hittable. I'm not scared of him at all. If I was, the Twins, we know how good they are. I like the lineup that they're rolling out, so I will have a little bit of them. And then I'll probably go back to the Indians going up against Barucki and the bad Blue Jays bullpen. They have a couple hitters that hit lefties pretty well, so it's a good stack to go with. But yeah, those are the teams first look.
Yeah, I think definitely the to me anyway, the D-backs definitely stick out, right? Against Aaron Brooks, like you said, who probably isn't going to be allowed to pitch that many pitches anyway, and then you're going to get a basically a bullpen game from Baltimore, and the D-backs have been playing well. In general, this season and lately, they've been putting up some runs. So I'm with you on that. I do like the D-backs. They stuck out the most. And then I'd probably skip over to the Indians real quick against Barucki. We haven't seen him since last year in the majors. Looking at his AAA numbers this year, really not great. He had a 3 okay, he's only had 2 starts, so evidently he's coming back from an injury. But his rehab doesn't look like he's exactly ready. Like, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. He's only had 2 rehab starts, so he's probably not going to be in there all that long. And like you said, Toronto's bullpen's pretty bad. So I'm with you. I think those are the 2 offenses to me that stand out the most. The Yankees-Twins game is very interesting. It's got an 11-run total. If this game was in Yankee Stadium, I would be all over both sides of these bats. But being that's in Minnesota and I was kind of chasing the stadium, I've been playing Twins and Oakland a lot during that series, and just nothing was happening, like just not a lot. So I'm a little hesitant to go back. But obviously, you do when you think about it this way. You've got 2 teams. The Twins are number 1. I think the Yankees are number 3 or something like that. And home runs this year. Total home runs hit. So from that perspective, it's very interesting. Probably a situation where I'm going to want to take a double take into this game and look at it real hard. But I would agree. I think those are the 3 spots, I'll say, that stand out to me the most as well. Any interest in the Astros against Homer Bailey? The Astros have been hot, and people really aren't playing them a ton. They were chalked that one day. They went off. They screwed me real good. After that, they kept going off, but people kind of stopped playing them for whatever reason. Any interest in the Astros against Homer Bales?
Oh yeah, they were probably the 4th team probably on the list. Yeah. So I don't see why. Yeah, it's Homer Bailey. Yeah, he can get lit up. He just got sent over there. So yeah, I could see it. They're just they're just really expensive. I think the other team that I would be looking at if the weather holds up is the Nationals against Lambert. I mean, we haven't seen their their run total yet, but I'm sure it's going to be around 6 when he gets out. And if the weather's okay and if they're playing, then that means that it's probably humid.
Right.
Because they're expecting thunderstorms. So that means, the special word that gets Paulie's 8 Ds all erect, the dew point.
The dews. The dews.
Dew for the Ds.
The dews.
You know what I mean? So that will be up. So I'm sure I like the Nationals tomorrow against Lambert. He has been one of the worst pitchers. I saw him live against the Dodgers, so I could just see him just get lit up tomorrow by the Nats.
Fair enough. I'm with it. And that's good for the slate breakdown portion of the show. This is actually a pretty awesome slate, Joe. We have a little bit of everything. It's going to take some work. We got to do some digging to find out what really stands out, but I think there's a lot of options, and I don't think that chalk is going to be overly concentrated. I think we'll see a healthy balance of chalk. Like, the D-backs will be, I think, one of the more popular teams, but it's not going to be like 40%, right? It's going to be like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's going to be a little bit more spread out because we do have a lot of really good spots everywhere. So, with that said, perfect time to come check us out at wisestake.com. If you are new to wisestake.com, we are running a free 7-day trial. All you got to do, 7 is all day. All you got to do is sign up for the All Sports monthly package. You will get a 7 days for free before you get charged. You won't get charged until your 7-day trial is up. If you're not happy with the trial, you can cancel. You'll still get access for the rest of the week. You just won't get charged on that 7th day. If you are satisfied after the 7 days, it'll just kind of keep you enrolled, and there you go. You'll be on the All Sports monthly plan, get access to all the content we provide for all the sports that we cover. Again, that's wisestake.com. Go check us out. It's free. No excuse not to. Joey, let's do cash game core. So SP1, we said Clevenger. SP2, Trevor Williams, you think? Should we just do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm cool with that. Who is the cash game stud you want to jam in?
I want to go with Eduardo Escobar.
I'm totally cool with that. He's been playing really well. Picking a D-back against the Orioles in cash seems like a pretty good idea. I'm totally cool with that. What about value? Does anybody stand out to you in any mispricing?
I would say Luplow on FanDuel just because he's 2,800, but if you were talking about Barucki coming, maybe not pitching that long, and I know that they usually pinch hit for him if in a righty, so it's kind of like I'd have to look at that a little more, but I was thinking maybe let's see if I get if I was thinking maybe Curtis Granderson 2,100.
Oh, that's good.
Leading off.
I don't mind that at all, assuming he plays.
Ivan Nova, you know what I'm saying?
I'm cool.
He's not.
He's really cheap here too. 3,400 over here. That's really, really cheap. Yeah, I'm cool with him on both sides, to be honest. Assuming he's in the lineup, you never know what they do. I'm cool with that on both sides for now, at least. All right, let's go to top 3 pitchers.
Top 3 pitchers tomorrow. Number 1 is going to be Clevenger. Number 2 is going to be Robbie Ray, and number 3 will be I'm going to go with Ivan Nova.
This is a tough top 3 day. I like about 6 already, but I'm going to go with Clevenger as well, Robbie Ray, number 2, and I'll go with your call, Sampson, man. I thought that was kind of interesting. Why not, right? Top 3 stacks.
D-backs number 1, number 2 Nationals, and number 3 will be the Indians.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the D-backs, the Indians, and I'll go with the Yankees for now. Although I do I can totally see, like you were saying, Perez pulling a troll job. Can definitely see it happening. The Yankees just haven't been as good against lefties this year. That's the bottom line. Dong Watch, who's going deep?
CJ Cron.
Loving it. I'll go with Ketel Marte.
All right, and then I'm gonna go with Jordan Alvarez.
I'll go with Oscar Mercado.
And finally, I'm gonna go with Eduardo Escobar.
And I will end it with Mr. Glaber. Do thy dirty to thy neighbor. Torres.
Yes.
Loving it.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for the Wise Take DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Take Nation. If you're watching on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Joey, always a pleasure doing these shows with you, my man. Anything in closing for the nation before we get up out of here?
No, man, it's almost end of July, man. We're getting into fantasy football starting up
11
soon.
days, I think, to the first preseason game.
Yeah, I know. Like training camp started, so
Getting hyped, man.
I'm totally locked in. So we'll have to talk fantasy football.
Oh, we
a
will.
little bit
We're gonna have to do a show and talk some football because I'm dying to like take a real. I can't wait for football season. It's gonna be such a fun season. I love baseball and it's been going great, and I don't want it to end, but it's been great.
But football is slowly coming.
Super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
For Patio Joe, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.